Blade Runner 2019 Issue 2 sees Ash as a child, where upon having a medical scan finds out her spine doesn't work, causing her mother to break down crying before leaving Ash in the care of her grandmother, never returning home again. In the present, Ash puts her memories of her past to the back of her mind as she arrives at the medical skin job facility, breaking into the building. She knows this is the place the last call from Cleo and Isabel Spinner came from, and she soon meets the doctor who owns the place, introducing herself, but he already knows why she is there. He says Isabel wanted a birthmark removed and asks if the woman is trouble, but Ash gives him her card, telling him to let her know if she comes back. The doctor is well aware that Ash is wearing her back brace, before saying Isabel was on her way home. Elsewhere, Isabel and Cleo are taken by their guide through the rundown tunnels, and soon they are told this is where they are meant to be brought, as they arrive at a soup kitchen. The guide says that those who don't make it up in the colonies end up stranded on the ground, and those who don't make it on the ground go underground. Heading into the crowd, the guide says that the police regularly clean up the camps whenever a replicant escapes, so there's no safe harbor here for them. Going into the tent, they meet their contact named the Lung, who says they have little time to spare. Ash meanwhile feels there was something off about the skin doctor, so paying a street urchin to follow him, Ash learns he left the medical shop and heads to the location her contact sends her. She soon arrives at the Charlton apartments, where she meets with the man the doctor met with, Mr. Bellingham. The old man plays dumb that no one else was in his apartment that night, inviting the Blade Runner in for tea. Ash notes the apartment is like an old time capsule, with all the details being right, but the place does not look lived in like it should be. Pulling her gun, she points it at the returning Bellingham, demanding to know his name and when the replicant was made. Bellingham says that he's got 17 months left on his lifespan and wanted to stay in the city since he likes it, and he could only stay if he adapted to avoid detection, so he had the skin doctor age him up. Ash wants to know why he visited him and what he knows about Isabel Selwyn, and the replicant says he knows everything, attacking Ash, throwing her across the room. Ash manages to throw her knife into the replicant, allowing her time to retrieve her weapon and fire at him. Before she can kill the robot, he tells her to ask Alexander Selwyn why he wants his daughter dead before jumping out of a window. Ash races down to the ground to her spinner, but the replicant is gone by the time she gets to it, so she heads off, planning on telling her captain about the case updates, but first she needs to question Alexander. Ash talks with him once she is home, telling him of the doctor and the replicant, wondering why his wife would talk with a skin doctor. Alexander says that she would never consort with those type of people, and she almost tells him what the replicant said to her, but Ash stops herself since she feels he doesn't need to be informed all that much now. Carol and Isabel meanwhile dress in some new warm clothes as the Lung returns, telling Isabel that the police found the replicant and they need to move. Lung says that she will take them to the Bones, who will get them out of the city. The Lung gives Isabel a gun as the woman asks why they are saving her child, but the Lung says they aren't, they are just trying to atone. Ash meanwhile contacts her captain, who tells her that the files on the skin doctor revealed that he was once a senior bioengineer of Tyrell Corporation, named Richard Slattery. Ash said that she'll begin tracking down Slattery as suddenly her spinner is smashed into by another, whose driver begins to shoot at her car with a rifle. Her spinner's systems go down and soon catches fire, forcing it to crash into a video billboard, plummeting towards the ground. Blade Runner 2019 Issue 2 continued the intriguing mystery of the Selwyn family's disappearance in exciting ways. It's really fun seeing a Blade Runner at work here and utilizing classic detective tropes along with the inner narration, which reminds me of one of the Blade Runner cuts that had Harrison Ford's Deckard character narrating it. Very similar to that, and it's also a very hard-boiled detective trope to have that sort of narration happen, so it's really cool to see that in this setting. Ash's own backstory is also really interesting, and I'm enjoying seeing that unfold as well, and her problems with her back and her family and what that's caused her. I'm looking forward to the action heating up next issue, where we hopefully learn why exactly the Selwyns are important and why Alexander's daughter is important. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.